8:22, 8:22. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Say hello to that raccoon and say hello to Dan from Wild Safe BC. He's here to help us know how to handle ourselves when we have urban animal encounters. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
So I want you to imagine me in the night with a raccoon between me and my front door. How do I handle a situation like that?
Well, the best thing you want to do is just to give it, the raccoon, a lot of space. Don't try to scare it away. Don't try to intimidate it, because the natural tendency of an animal will be to fight back. So you want to just leave it alone, give yourself, go back inside, let the raccoon go on its way, and then after it's gone, look at and try to find out what the raccoon was going after. What was the food source? And then remove that food source, and that's the best way to reduce having raccoons or wildlife in your backyard.
Right, limit the encounters
exactly.
to start with.
Exactly.
Are rabid raccoons a thing of mythology, or is there an actual necessary fear when it comes to a raccoon with rabies?
If you were to ever get bit by a raccoon or a skunk, what you want to do is that you do want to get it checked, just to make sure. But it's very rare that that you would get rabies. But it's always good to just have that checked, so that way you're being precautionary, and not, if you do have an encounter with an animal that has rabies, you don't want to find out well after the fact.
So definitely get yourself to a hospital.
Absolutely.
How about skunks? A lot of those in the city. How do you get yourself out of an encounter without getting sprayed?
That's a really good question. So with skunks, what you want to do is you want to give the skunk lots of room, obviously.
Do you have to back up slowly?
Yeah, back away slowly, keep an eye on it, but be non-threatening to it. So don't try to chase it with a broom or run after it, try to scare it away. Remove yourself from them. And then if you start to see the signs where the skunk is kind of turning around and its tail's lifting.
Yeah, so skunk body language, is that a good thing to read? Yeah, that's what you want to look out for, because then they're ready to be sprayed. And that is really their last resort. If they feel threatened, they're going to spray you, because what happens is, the reason why it's the last resort is that it takes a whole week for the skunk to be able to rejuvenate the spray again. No way.
Then that skunk now is vulnerable to predators, owls and coyotes and stuff like that. So they really don't want to spray. It's not like I'll spray all the time. So as long as you give it a lot of room, then the skunk and you can both coexist.
Let's move on, Dan, to coyotes. I know coyote sightings in Vancouver are definitely on the rise over the last few years.
Yes.
But do they fall into that category of animal that they're more afraid of us than we are of them?
Well, with coyotes, they're very, very adaptable. And so what you want to do with the coyotes is you want to remove all the attractants, because the more comfortable that they get into the urban setting, the more aggressive that they can be. So
are they into garbage the same way that raccoons are?
Absolutely. They'll be going into garbage. They'll go into bird seed. So having bird feeders out is also really bad because it attracts the skunks, the raccoons, the coyotes. And so they're looking for food. So coyotes are omnivores. They'll go after even fruits and the garbage, and they'll also go after animals, including pets.
Yeah, let's talk about when you have your dog with you, a dog versus coyote encounter. How do you handle that situation?
Well, what you want to do is, if you're out walking with your dog, is to always keep it on a leash, because the dog will smell the coyote and that will warn you that a coyote or some kind of animal is in the area. By controlling it, then you can be able to pull the dog away. What a coyote will do is that they will try to lure the animal away. And if it's a small animal, there's been stories of even coyotes hiding in the bush, waiting for people to set their dog down and come in and take the dog and run away with it. Or they'll spray into a bush area, so the dog will actually go into the bush, and then they'll ambush the dog. So by having it on a leash, then you have the best control over your pet.
And really quickly before we wrap up, Dan, maybe there's a BT viewer that's watching and they have a paralyzing fear of, let's say, a skunk or a raccoon. Do you have something that you could tell them that might help them set themselves at ease if they do come across an encounter with one?
Yeah, so generally the animal is just as scared of you as you are of them. So what you want to do is just remove yourself, just be calm, and you be big if that works. Talk to it calmly, sing a song to it.
That'll calm you down as well, then,
exactly,
won't it?
Exactly, and remove yourself from the situation. That's the best way of handling it.
Thank you so much, Dan. I hope you learned a little bit here about how to handle yourself during an animal encounter. Thank you for joining us on BT.